Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my co-host.
It's your boy, Chayse.
All right, and tonight we got a good slate of topics. Going to be talking about Ben Affleck returning as Batman for the Flash film. Didn't even know that still was going on, or they still had any ideas for that project. I was kind of dead in the water. We're going to talk about Olivia Wilde, also directing a Marvel film for Sony. She says it's going to be very female-centric, so that's got a lot of people guessing about who it would be. We're also going to discuss the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion controversy. That story just keeps developing. We're also going to discuss probably the biggest topic that's been going on for the past few days is the cutesy controversy. If you don't know what that is, you're going to learn today. It's pretty much been the most hot topic going on in the internet right now.
Yeah.
And so we got a nice full slate of topics. But first of all, how you doing, man?
I'm chilling. I didn't think we were gonna have anything to talk about, but like these past couple of days have been hella hectic.
Yeah.
So I guess we got shit to talk about now.
Yeah, I was kind of like, it was coming like Wednesday, Tuesday. I was like, okay, what are we gonna really talk about? Coming, close to Friday, usually, when we do the shows, and I was like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about.
I was really about to ask you, like, yo, Josh, I think we could have a break week.
Yeah. Because I was like, there's not really much out, but like these little tidbits dropped, with Olivia Wilde story, which is Olivia Wilde directing a female-centric Marvel movie. Now they haven't. This is via Variety. They said that representatives for Sony and Marvel had no comment about the project as of yet. Speculation has arisen in the recent months about Sony developing a movie centering on the Spiderwoman character, and a lot of people kind of excited, Marvel movie, a new one, and then people I think immediately got deflated when they heard it would be a Sony-related Sony. It's like, oh right, Sony, that they still have rights to those characters, right,
yeah.
And Spider-Man and everything. They'll still hold him hostage over there. Olivia Wilde, she's only directed one other movie before. She directed Booksmart, which was a smaller film about girls transitioning from, their senior year of high school and trying to be prepared to go to college and that friendship. Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein were the two leads of the film, and I think they did a very good job. And their chemistry was really great. So it makes me interested to see what she'll do with the female-centric Spider-Man movie. It makes me think when they say female-centric instead of female lead, do you think it'll be a group of women, or do you think it'll just be one singular one?
Well, they could actually pull from a group of women, because they do have a couple of female Spider-Women going around. Like, I was just thinking about, like, the coolest one that they could do is a movie about Silk, which I don't think not too many people know about. I think the most obvious one would be Spider-Gwen, because she's kind of famous now because of It's the Spider-Verse. And another one that they could pull from is if they were to do like an adaptation of Peter Parker's daughter.
Is that the one, is that Old Man Logan, where she's kind of like a bad guy?
I don't think, she's not a bad guy. The one I'm referencing is May Parker, but what I'd be more interested in is if they did a Silk movie.
Why Silk over Spider-Woman or Gwenpool?
Because we haven't seen any adaptations of Silk to my knowledge. I don't even think we've seen her in any of the Spider-Man cartoons. But she's Korean American, and I mean I haven't delved much into her story and her past, but her design is awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the pictures.
Yeah, she looks so much cooler than most Spider people. And, Marvel's trying to pull for the diversity. I think that could really help their pull.
Especially since after what the whole situation's been going on with Daredevil and Jeff Loeb. Did you hear about that?
No, I actually didn't.
So the situation, this was like Daredevil, as people know, people who watch the show, they have a lot of Asian American and Asian actors on the show. And one actually came out recently and talked about his experience. He was like, yeah, Jeff Loeb did not want to write more about the Asian characters in the show. And they weren't even invited to the season premiere. And Jeff Loeb told the writers not to, focus on the Asian characters. They don't matter, whatever, pass them aside. And, and they just talk about their treatment on it and how they were kind of just treated as afterthoughts, you know. And there was one time where even Jeff Loeb, you know, like for like the Iron Fist, like when they introduced that, I think at Comic-Con, he even dressed up as like Mr. Miyagi or something. Like, you know, just real kind of disrespectful stuff. So maybe, you know, if they want to, you know, kind of get back in the good graces, maybe the Asian community, and go like, okay, hey, listen, that doesn't represent us. Maybe Silk would be a good, you know, chance to do that, along with this and Shang-Chi. Do you think there's a possibility that they're going to try to do more of a Spider-Verse thing, like trying to do a live-action Spider-Verse with like Spider-Woman, Gwen Poole, May Parker?
Yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that.
I think they're going to do that.
Venom was supposed to have Peter Parker in it very briefly. What was it? Teaser at the end.
Right.
Fortunately, they spared us of that. But they've been trying to get this whole Spider-Verse live-action verse for like the past decade since they've seen the Marvel format work. Because, you know, they were talking about doing like a Silver Sable movie, the Black Cat movie.
They were trying to do a... When they trying to toss around like Aunt May as like a spy or something.
Yeah, but yeah, they've been trying to do this whole Spider-Verse thing for like the past like decade. They just never had a good Spider-Man to do it.
Yeah.
But now they do.
Yeah.
So my only worry is that whoever they tapped Olivia Wilde to direct, I pray that this is at least in sync with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I cannot see that happening.
I mean, the Spider-Man movies they did, like Far From Home and everything, that was in sync.
My fear is that it's gonna be a part of the Venom side of the cinematic universe, because it would be awesome to see Silk, Spider-Gwen, or whoever they make in the MCU. But you know,
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. The film will be written by the same writer as Booksmart, Katie Silberman. And Amy Pascal, of course, she's producing. She produces all the pretty much Sony superhero stuff. You know, you bring things like bringing the same talent, same team that was part of Booksmart that made that a huge success. Continues the trend of like taking directors who've only directed maybe a few films, and most of those are small budget films, and giving them big franchises. You know, because that was the same thing with like the guy who directed the Spider-Man movies. You know, he directed small budget films, and then they didn't give him a huge franchise. So I'm excited. You know, I want to see what they do. Want to see what characters they pick, see what they do, and see who they cast for the film.
I trust Olivia Wilde, but I don't trust Amy Pascal.
Right.
So as long as Amy Pascal kind of leans off the creative side of it, kind of like she did with the Into the Spider-Verse, and just lets the creatives be creative, then it should be great.
Yeah, just kind of, you know, let them do it, trust in the characters, and, you know, I would assume it's going to be them mostly probably high school age kids, which that's probably why they got her from Booksmart, because those were about high school age kids. And in that movie, it's a good high school experience. You know, it's not, you know, anything that's far-fetched or Hollywoodized. Like, it's a pretty, I think, good, you know, I mean, I haven't been in high school for a while, but I think it's a good representation of what high school is now.
Do you want to do a little bet? I have 5 on the character being Silk.
Okay.
Is there any character that you want to bet on?
I don't think it's going to be Silk. I'm going to say it's Spider-Gwen, I think. So I'm going to bet. I'm going to bet not Spider-Woman, but I think it's going to be Spider-Gwen, because you can do the high school thing, and you can do more of that. So that's why I'm going to put my money on.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. I got 5 on Silk, and Josh got 5 on Spider-Gwen.
I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on it.
So let's move on and talk about another superhero property. Batman over at the DC Universe. This was a shock to me, because I thought Ben Affleck was pretty much done with the whole Batman thing, the whole DC franchise, because of his recent troubles. You know, struggling with alcoholism, and like how kind of playing the Batman character and all that stuff kind of just really stressed him out.
Can you blame him?
Yeah, I mean, no, I can't blame him. You know, I just thought he was done. And I was kind of really saddened by that news, because I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I don't know if this is like completely an unpopular opinion. But I think that Ben Affleck is the best live-action Batman we've ever had. And that's including Christian Bale. That's including Michael Keaton. I think he's the best one that we've ever had. Yeah, that may be a hot take, but I really do feel like that.
I could see why people have that take, and I could see why you have that take. He's got the look for it. He is a real life asshole, just like Batman, and he's really good at the action scenes, but he just never had a good writer behind him.
Right.
So to convince me that he is the best live action Batman, you'd have to give him somebody that could actually write Batman well. Yeah. So until that happens, I'm gonna still say Christian Bale's the best Batman because,
he's got the better movies.
He's just had a better script to work with. I can't really say that Ben Affleck is the best Batman just because he looks cool and he looks the part.
Well, I think the reason I say that, and I'm not like a DC fanboy. I actually these DC universe movies, I'm kind of 50-50 on him. But I think one of the reasons I really like him, and one of the reasons I say Ben Affleck is the best Batman, is because, one, I think he just fits the character, right? When he's Bruce Wayne, there's a scene where, in Justice League where here you have Henry Cavill's Clark Kent talking to him, interviewing him. First of all, I mean, maybe it helps because Henry Cavill is he's a plank of wood as an actor sometimes. And so Ben Affleck can, even though Ben Affleck's not the best actor, he's acting fucking circles around Henry Cavill. So it's easy for him just kind of act circles around him and just really, have that bravado and charm. Like it's just like him going back and forth with the guy, with him interviewing him is just really good. And when he puts on the suit, he's got that perfect jawline in the suit. I love the design of the Batman suit, and when he's there, I think he has that, he's got that kind of like the Dark Knight Returns, where you see the big physical stocky build that he has. So it's very physically imposing. I think the scene, even though, like I said, I don't like Batman v Superman, but the fight scene in the warehouse, that's a great fight scene. I mean, that was great. I mean, a lot of it reminded me of the Batman Arkham video games, and I'm like, that's perfect. Because you see a lot of these fight scenes, even in the best Batman movies like Dark Knight or Batman Begins, the fight scenes were not good. I mean, you can clearly tell, that they're not hitting anybody. It's not fun to watch. And that scene where he's, doing the grapple hook and, launching people up, and then he's, fighting people two on one, like that is just, I was like, wow, this is what I've been wanting to see this whole fucking time watching a Batman movie, and they've got it. And really him being a detective, really using his detective skills, tracking people, that's also another element that I really liked that they brought into those movies. I think there's a lot of really good stuff there that I really wanted to see Ben Affleck do in his own solo Batman movie, and it's a shame that we don't really get a chance to see.
Okay. So, in the suit, you could say he's the best Batman in the suit. Because his voice is naturally deep. So he doesn't have to do the Batman fake voice that Christian Bale had to do. But I'd still just say that because of his lack of quality material, he just cannot be the best Batman because all these factors holding him back.
That's a fair argument. I see what you're saying. That's a fair argument. I see where you're coming from. I just like as a character, just like I think he encompassed a lot of what was really good about the character of Batman.
I definitely do have to give you guys that. He definitely in the suit, he is Batman. He's the closest we've ever gotten.
Yeah. So to discuss like him being in the Flash, this is via Vanity Fair, and it says the Flash movie is planned for release in summer 2022. Will feature the fast-moving superhero Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller. That was another thing too. Ezra Miller, he's still attached to it. Because this film, The Flash, if anybody doesn't know, it's been in development, and they've constantly changed directors, writers. Yeah. This has been going back and forth. Like the director of Dope was originally, he was also attached to it. He dropped out. I think Phil Lord, Chris Miller, they were also originally attached to it. They dropped out.
This movie has more bodies than Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, just a wake of destruction of just failed creators who've come on this project and been like, I don't know what creative differences is always kind of one of the main reasons they say. So I don't know. This has been constantly in development, constantly changing hands. Right now, the current director of the film is Andy Muschietti. who's the filmmaker behind. He did the It Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Mostly, I know him from just his horror stuff, so I don't know how he's going to come into the whole superhero realm. And they say that the premise of the film is going to be breaking the bonds of physics to crash into various parallel dimensions, where he'll encounter slightly different versions of DC's classic heroes. In its adaptation of DC's 2011 Flashpoint series comic book crossover. So they're confirming that it's going to be based off of Flashpoint, which to me, I read the comic. I've also seen the direct-to-DVD animated film that they did called Flashpoint Paradox. Did you ever see that?
No.
It was really good. It was one of the better DC direct-to-DVD animated films. It was really good. And the whole premise of Flashpoint was that Barry Allen went back in time to save his mother, and because he did that basically caused a huge rift in the whole universe. And it had a situation where Bruce Wayne, instead of him being the one that survived, he was the one that was shot, and his parents lived. So his father, Thomas Wayne, became Batman. Wonder Woman, instead of there's no Justice League, and Wonder Woman and Aquaman are at war with each other. The Atlanteans and the Amazonians are at war. That's destroying the whole planet. Superman isn't involved. He's in some lab somewhere. So it was a really good comic. It was a really good animated film. I loved it a lot. I don't think it's the best choice for a first film, but yeah. Considering what they're going for here, because it seems like they're going for Flashpoint to kind of reset the universe, because as people know, the Matt Reeves Batman is going to star Robert Pattinson. So it seems like that's what they're trying to do, is kind of reset the whole universe, and kind of bring it and explain why there's two Batmans in it.
Well, no, three.
Yeah, three actually, and that gets to a very good point. Michael Keaton is going to return as Batman in the film, because it says right here, Affleck won't be the only Batman making a comeback. A few other more of the alternate dimension heroes who turn up in the Flash movie will be figures we've seen before. Michael Keaton's Batman from the 1989 Tim Burton film is also set to appear, and the director, Andy Muschietti, said was a substantial part. So that has people speculating. Quick question, do you think that Michael Keaton will play the Bruce Wayne role the way he did in Batman Beyond? And they'll have Terry McGinnis do that type of thing, or do you think he'll just play an older version of Batman?
I would love Batman Beyond somehow incorporated in this, but I think the most obvious choice they're gonna do is just a simple, this is the old Batman, this is the current Batman, and now the mantle's being passed down to Robert Pattinson. So I do think they're gonna tie in Robert Pattinson's Batman's origin into this movie somehow, if they are gonna connect it.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna also make an appearance in the film. The line where they say that that a few more alternate dimensions heroes who turn up in the Flash will be figures we've seen before, makes me think maybe they'll have. You think they could bring back Linda Carter, Wonder Woman? Maybe another version of Superman, like Brandon Routh. Maybe he can come back as Superman, which he did. You don't watch the DC TV stuff, do you?
I was actually just about to bring that up, but I don't watch them. But I do like what they were trying to do with the multiverse. Yeah.
So because this type of stuff touches on the multiverse, right? And if you watch the DC TV stuff, which is on the CW, they have Arrow, Batwoman, Black Lightning, Supergirl, The Flash. Actually, in one episode of The Flash, I think it was during their big crossover, because they do big crossovers every year with all the shows, do one big major storyline, which are, it's cheesy, but it's fun. I watch the DC stuff on Super, it's cheesy, good fun, whatever. I get when people say it's lame or it's stupid or it's not good. I get it, but it's kind of my guilty pleasure type stuff. And they do some good stuff on there at times.
Yeah, it's like a childhood It's the same thing with like Avengers. We like seeing all of our childhood heroes in the sandbox together, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's just fun to see that. And that was like the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like that was their last big, huge crossover event. And the Ezra Miller Flash actually went face to face with the Grant Gustin who plays the Flash on the TV show. And they had like a little scene where it was like face to face. And also in the Crisis of Infinite Earths, Brandon Routh actually made a return as Superman, and he's actually on Legends Tomorrow as like a D-list superhero. He's like the Atom, which is like a super C-list, D-list superhero. But they had he had the look of Superman from Kingdom Come, which was the Grant Morrison comic, I believe, right? Superman Kingdom Come, if I'm getting that right. People probably correct me in the comments, call me stupid, whatever. But I want to say it was it was Alex Ross. Excuse me, Alex Ross. So hey, fuckhead, stop commenting. I got it right. It was Alex Ross. I correct.
We do our Googles.
Yeah, so he had the gray temples and everything like that. So it makes me think if they're gonna maybe do something like that in the movie, the Flash film. I would be, first of all, I'm excited to see Ben Affleck return, coming back as Batman. I'm really excited to see Michael Keaton come back as Batman. That really is very interesting, and so many people want him to do the role of Bruce Wayne, how he was in Batman Beyond with Terry McGinnis. I would love that if he showed up. I would love if there's a scene where Flash runs through all the dimensions and runs into the Christopher Reeve Superman, where he runs into Linda Carter when she was on her TV show of Wonder Woman, like maybe even the 1960s Batman, Adam West. He runs into that dimension, like the cartoons or something like that. Like that would be really, really awesome. I would really like something like that. What are your thoughts?
I think the most obvious ones that they're gonna pick out are the TV shows. They're probably gonna connect them further because of the initial connection. But it would be fun if they did somehow incorporate the cartoons. It really just depends on the tone of the movie, though. I do think that Flashpoint deserves a more serious tone. So I don't really foresee them incorporating any of the cartoons if they are gonna take a serious tone. I wonder if they ever were in the board meeting and they were just asking, like, all right, so are we gonna get Christopher Nolan's Batman, Chris Bale?
That would be interesting.
I feel like Christopher Nolan would just be like a hard pass on that. He's just gonna be like, I don't want anything to do with this silly nonsense, in his British voice.
Well, it would just be Christian Bale. They would just ask him and be like, hey, you want to come and just do a quick scene real quick? I mean, who doesn't like a good fat check?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And to come like, hey, bro, you're just going to be in this quick little cameo for 5 minutes. You get this much money, bro. Come on. You really going to pass up just to be in this? And he going to go, all right, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty much. Like, sure, why not? Yeah, I mean, 2022, I mean, even if they keep the same schedule, who knows how COVID is going to do that, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
I'm lightly excited. I'm fearful of it because they're kind of depending on. It feels like they're depending on this movie to save their whole cinematic universe. So that's what kind of has me afraid of it, because I feel like it's gonna have an overwhelming pressure on it. But if it's great, then it's great. Birds of Prey was great. So hopefully they can just they can keep on the momentum and keep it moving.
To all the people out there watching this, have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you listen to this. Don't forget to always stay tuned.